Iorì Wase's podcast is brought to you by First Nations Fiber.
Have you ever been gaming or working online classes and your internet service constantly gets interrupted? First Nations Fiber is about to ensure that just won't happen again. Get ready for high speed at a new level. Click on fnfiber.com and sign up today. First Nations Fiber, empowering people through connectivity.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 12 of the Beading Table. You're here with co-hosts Leith Makiwa and Degonuyakwa Stand Up.
Hello.
Today, we are very excited to announce that we have an in-studio guest, girl boss Jessica Hernandez.
Woo! Hello.
Welcome, Jessica. Jessica is Ganawageronu. She is the owner and operator of Nisia's Accessories, where they do in-store and online sales of beadwork, supplies, beads, all the things needed to be very creative. She's a beader herself. You can check her out on Instagram. We will post a picture of her and all her information in case you'd like to further check out all her wonderful stuff. So welcome. Today is a nice and windy day in Kahnawake, and like we always do, we're going to start with our monthly check-in. So, Degonuyakwa, what is going on?
I'm sitting here smothering in a mask.
COVID-free, of course.
COVID-free, yes. I have been testing. I am fine. My daughter was sick, along with the rest of the world. So we all have the sniffles, and I'm wearing a mask just so that I'm not spreading that around. But other than that, we are fine. We're good. Beading-wise, I have been working on a few things. I'm trying to do a bead sale. In a few weeks. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I have a few pieces that I've completed. I'm trying to focus on men's.
Like accessories and whatnot?
Yeah, just, because we don't often see that come through the shop, or like, I find it's specific, like if somebody orders it or if it's made for somebody. So I'm just trying to have random stuff available. So yeah, that's where I'm at in life right now. And you?
So I wouldn't say I'm necessarily on a beading hiatus, but I have let beadwork kind of take a back seat just because I think I'm a little bit prepared and ahead of the game, whereas usually I'm last minute. So I'm still beading my daughter's stuff for graduation. And I was just recently looking over, not my beading journal, because I'm not really up to date on the beading journal, but in my book that happens to be all my note stuff is I have some things I have to make, but the main number one thing is my daughter's thing. So because I feel a little bit secure, I'm taking a little back seat, and I'm focusing more on the job that I have, like my coaching job. So I'm doing that. So, but yeah, other than that, just trying to, get myself prepared for this cool weather that's coming in and all the beading things that are happening.
All the fun stuff. And Jessica, since you're with us today, where are you in life?
So I'm trying to get the store prepared for Christmas, which is like taking forever. Mm-hmm. I've been beading a little bit here and there, just so I don't lose my mojo. Because once you lose your mojo, it's really hard to get it back. Yeah. I'm headed to Seneca tomorrow for the Ganadog and Haudenosaunee art show. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I didn't really have to go, but I just felt like going.
Yeah, why not, man? Be there.
I never really do anything outside the box like that. Mm-hmm. So I said, you know what? I asked my cousin to come with me if she wanted to. And then her daughter's like, I want to go too. So we're going to have a little cousin's trip.
Oh, nice.
And just to let everybody know, Jessica submitted a piece of artwork for the Ganondagan Art Market, and she was accepted. So it's a competition, and it's an in-house not in-house. It's a in-person competition this year. And we are wishing her the best of luck. And we will see this weekend. It starts on the 3rd of December.
It starts tomorrow.
Oh, it starts tomorrow.
Yeah, and then it ends on Saturday.
On Saturday.
Yeah.
And you'll find out on Saturday, you'll find out on Friday.
I don't remember what she said.
Okay.
I'm really not expecting anything. I'm actually excited to see all the artwork that's there.
Mm-hmm. I want to see, I would love to go see the museum too.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited for that.
It should be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So I never get to do all that kind of stuff. So it's time to make jumps.
Yay!
And what really inspired you to apply to that market?
It was Guajarani came in the store, and I had my piece. I had just finished it, and I got it back from Yuntka Tota.
Yeah, the Yuntka Tota.
So it was just sitting there, and everybody was asking, like, no, it's not for sale. And then she said, well, you really should submit it for that. It's, she'd say museum quality. And I'm like, really? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't really do stuff like that. I usually make stuff and sell it. Like, so I said, you know what? let me try. And then I kept pushing off. And the day before I submitted. So yes, I procrastinate like everybody else.
Yeah.
Did you have to send it ahead of time or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I sent it express post. I bubble wrapped it.
Mhm.
I sent a new little bio about it. And then I just waited. And they sent me the other day that they received it. So I was
Oh,
like,
good.
good.
Yeah.
Because I was a
Yeah.
little worried.
Yeah.
With the post system right now, I
I've
could
sent
pull
some
my hair
things
up.
too, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my God, like I don't care how much I got to pay. I just want to make sure it gets there.
Yes.
And the packaging, me, I was always afraid. Like when you're sending something like, oh, please don't get there all smashed or like crumpled up or, like destroyed. That was always like a fear too. Like,
Well, I super bubble wrapped it.
yeah.
And then added more.
Yeah.
I even had the handle standing up and I
Oh,
wrapped that
yeah.
that way
Oh,
so
good.
that it wasn't flopping.
Fluffy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's the last thing you want is like something just goes,
Snap off. Yeah.
It'll be good. The only thing is that in order to enter, they said that it has to be for sale.
it has to be for sale,
So, yeah.
but you have the opportunity to decline any offers for sale.
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because what it is that because it's a show, right? And it's people are going there to buy and to do whatever. They want to make sure that it's not a commissioned piece that you're just submitting just for people to look at.
Yeah.
It's something that actually people can buy if they wanted. Are you in charge of the sale or is the organization in charge of the sale? I'm not sure.
I think I kind of am. They asked me to submit my email and
Yeah.
that to keep hold of everything and let them know if anybody reaches out to me.
Oh, okay. So yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. So yeah.
Yeah, they do with that one because I was looking at all the paperwork too. You are in charge of it, but they also have first dibs if they want to buy it.
Yeah.
But then you do have the choice though to decline because it might be a piece that you want to show somewhere else eventually too. So you can you always have that right. So
Yeah, because I don't know if I'm gonna make another one. I'm not one to like repeat things.
no, and
Often-
like a piece like that too. You kind of want
Yeah.
it to be a one of a kind.
And if I did, it would not be in the same color scheme. Like
Mhm.
I get like when things are repetitive, it's like monotonous, and
Mhm.
I get bored.
Yeah. Oh, we hear you.
That's exciting. Once you
Yay.
start, you can't stop. But that's the thing. Like when you said, like you might want to show it somewhere else. Like I've seen artists who take a piece, they win some ribbons, they go to another show, they win some ribbons, and at the end, like like I have this piece with all of this like acclaim, and then, well, it drives up the price too because it has more value because it was like prize winning and whatnot. So that's something to keep in mind. Whereas I just like try to sell everything because I just need the money. I just want to make some money off my stuff. So Jessica, we have a few online questions that we got.
Okay.
If you're interested in that, unless Margaret, you have anything else you want to talk about before we get into some of this?
No,
and
let's
then
jump right
just
on
start
it.
jumping in.
Yep.
Okay. So it's not in any order. And I'm not sure if you're going to know who asked the questions, but the first question is, who is your favorite employee? You obviously don't have to answer, but I thought it was a very...
Hi, Olivia. So Olivia has moved up the ranks.
Okay.
Okay, so I have a funny story.
Okay.
And obviously I have to mention my mother, who
Yes.
was my first and best employee, but we always said I fired and I quit like every day. That was our joke. You're fired. Okay, well, bring me home. Or I quit. So, but Olivia has really, she's like my backbone when I need things done. And she's not even there that much because she has small children, but she was hired on the premise that I knew she had small kids and come in when you can and do what you can. And she's almost like an emotional support person, you know? So when she's not there, I feel it, but she'll answer messages at home. She'll check on me. Did you do this? So it's good to have somebody. And I think I talked to you about this before. It's when you find somebody good, keep them. Like it's really important.
So maybe a follow-up question for that wasn't streamed through Instagram is how many employees do you have?
So right now I have 2 employees and I am working on training a spare.
Oh, excellent.
Who is a young student.
Mhm.
So for me, what's important is that when I hire people that they have an interest in beading. And because I have a big background in customer service, how you treat people is really important to me. So I look for people who are going to be kind and make people feel welcome. And if that's not the case, then
You got to go.
It's not a fit.
Well, that's good. Well, that's excellent there. So
Yeah.
anyone who's looking for stellar
Customer service.
customer service, then you know where to go. You can go to Nisia's Accessories. Again, we'll post it on Instagram, all the information that you might need if you are in the Kahnawake area or you're online, right? Because you do online sales as well.
Yes,
right?
yes. It drives me nuts a little bit right now, but yes.
Well, we have some questions about that.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so the second question was, what is your favorite item to bead? Whether it be purses, earrings, moccasins, etc.
I don't know if there's a specific item, but it's like when I get an idea and I like design it, I gotta bead this.
Mhm.
Like that's my favorite thing, is to see what I kind of envision come to life. That's like my favorite thing.
Interesting. So with that being said, how did you really see the vision of that piece that you called the pyramid purse? Like maybe you could let our audience know a little bit more of the backstory on that. I mean, if they do go to your Instagram page, they'll see it, but we want to hear
So
about
I don't know how deep you want to go, but
But you can go
I
maybe
don't-
to as deep as Margaret, because she was inspired by that piece too, by your piece, which was inspired by another piece.
Okay, so I'll try to do this without getting emotional.
And it's okay to be emotional
Yeah.
beading table, but
So this was the first piece that I beaded since I beaded my mother's moccasins for her journey. And I really needed something that was out of the box, number one, but I needed color because it's a very dark and grief is really hard. So I just needed colors. I needed to feel life again. And I'm not one to be like dark, or if you know me, I'm like the happiest, like positive thinking person. And this was a hard one. So I just needed to bead something that was going to kind of bring me out of that. I said, you know what? I always love this piece I saw. I saw it on Pinterest, I think, or Instagram. And it was this Chanel bag. I don't even know if it was an actual Chanel bag or somebody beaded onto or made something on top of a Chanel bag. But I looked at it and I said, I want to do something like this, but all raised beadwork. I said, you know what? I'm going to finally do it because it's been in my phone for maybe 2 or 3 years, like that long.
Yeah.
And so I just started one day. I said, I'm going to do this. And I got all my pieces out and it flowed, So, and my aunt, my wonderful aunt would check up on me every day and she wanted to see like the progress because my family is some of my biggest supporters. They're always like, if it's powwow, I got cousins that are waiting at 9 a.m. for stuff. She's always checking in, my aunt, to see what I'm making. My mother loved everything that I did. Even my loved ones, like Ganye and the kids, they're always like, oh, what are you making now? As I was going, I was like, what are you doing? Like, they didn't understand what I was doing.
Well, yeah, because it's a very odd shaped kind of piece. Yes.
So, and then as I'm going, you have to take artistic liberties because it's such an odd shape. And because I knew I was using so much color, did I want to do this or did I want to simplify it? So I chose to do a simple linear outline because I said everything else is so busy.
Yep.
I don't really think it needs a rope stitch. And I don't know how it's going to look when all the corners are connected. Like, I wasn't too sure, and as I was going, I originally intended to have a zipper. And when I thought about it and speaking to my aunt, it was going to look really manufactured if I did that. So how was I going to close it?
And then you got to squish it to get your hand in or something. Yeah.
And then all the pieces were pretty stiff. Like there's zipper was out of the question. If I put ribbon, it might look gaudy, so I ended up putting Velcro inside just so that it closed properly and nothing would fall out.
Yeah.
Because, I intend somebody to use it.
I'm so glad I know how that closes because you know how bad I want to open it at the show. I was like, I just want to open it and see what's in there.
Had I been there at the same time, you could have just asked and I would have opened it. But it was like, it took a while for me to think, how am I going to do this without it taking away from everything else? I was going to do a chain. And I'm like, that's manufactured. Like, let me do a wrapped handle. And how big do I want it? And I decided, a little wristlet, So it was just little liberties like that I took in, trying to add the colors in a way like I didn't just throw colors on, each side I picked my colors, I took them away because I picked colors for project to start, and then I take away and put other colors. Yeah.
Yeah.
So trying to see what worked with those colors. And I mean, they're all neon, so it's not the easiest thing when you have like.
But it screams Jessica Hernandez. Like that's what we said. It's like that is her.
Yeah.
That is her. That is her. It's so bright and bubbly. And
Well, my first raised beadwork moccasins were all black and neon. The first raised beadwork thing I ever did. Because
was there a flower on that one? Not a flower. Was that a bird?
No.
Okay.
But I had previously only really done little smaller projects before I did that. And I was like, you know what? I'm going all black. I had this black cow leather that was really stiff.
And you've learned since then, right?
But I mean, you have what you have at the time, right? So a lot of things get passed down to you. I come from a family of beaders and quilters. So there's a lot of stuff that was passed down. But yeah, that's where the piece came out of. And I just see it as, the light coming out of the dark, I kind of say. And it kind of brought me back to beading because, I have my days.
Of course.
But it's, I'm proud of it.
It's beautiful. It is. It's a beautiful piece.
And you can see it. You can see the sentiment in it. Hearing the story, it really does. Now you can, like, it's beautiful regardless, but even with the story, now you can really see the story in it,
And it was nice that I had everybody check on the project, as I was going, because I know people were just checking in on me. So, and, for a moment there, I didn't even know if I was going to open the store back, like, because we were there all the time. Like, I'd pick her up to come to work even if I didn't need her.
Yeah.
So people kept passing the store when I was on bereavement and the light was on, the open sign. So, yeah, I knew I had to get back to work and that's what she wanted. So it's kind of dedicated to her. I just didn't think of a name for the piece, I'm like, do I go deep or, it's just a pyramid purse.
Yeah.
It's read the story.
Read the story. Or listen to the story. But it's beautiful. It's such a nice tribute in a way, just to use what it is that you're passionate about to really help you through difficult times.
And I'm a firm believer, you've heard me talk about it before, that beading is medicine. During COVID, like for me, like just to be able to start and finish something, that process is so special. And like, I would ask you, how do you do all these Zoom classes? Like for me, I can't do, I tried once and I'm like, I think I really take a lot from a group of women sitting together and just chit chatting and beading. Like that energy is just so special. So.
And when we were doing it through Zoom, it depends though. It depends on the class. It depends on the people who are in there. I would have some classes where it would be quiet.
Like silent.
Yeah. And you miss that. You miss that, the energy of it all. And then I'd have some classes where it was like, it was rolling, like everyone was laughing and everyone's in there and everyone's talking and, people are cutting each other off because everyone's trying to talk together. And so it's always different, I guess, through Zoom. But you do miss the energy of like just being with everyone like in person and being, all together and stuff like that. So,
well, I give props to you because you really did a lot for people. Like, give yourself a pat on the shoulder. I'm like, I'm not doing Zoom.
You know what? Sometimes though, sometimes it's for me too. It's because I enjoyed it. It's my, even if it was through Zoom, it was my get out time. It was like, I just love meeting different people because you really never know who's coming in the classes. You don't know who's signing up. So it was always fun just to get together. I always joke now, I'm like, I know all these people across the Confederacy and half of them I've never even met in person yet, but it's through all these classes that you meet everybody. And I enjoy it. It's not always the easiest, but yeah, it's fun. I enjoy it.
Whereas I don't have patience for that, but I have patience for like teaching like
kids
and that kind of stuff. Like, but I don't have patience.
Well, I remember when I had, because I didn't send my kids to daycare. But I remember I would like be on walks and I would see you with all your kids and I'm like, man, look at her go, like speaking Ganyageha and teaching them, like, wow.
Well, I don't even have patience for my own kids. I have patience for these kids at work, like I'm like, yeah, it's chaos. I love it, like, that's what I like too. But, I mean, I like my kids too, but maybe back to the questions. So we talked a little bit about, well, you really went into depth about the pyramid purse and that inspiration. So maybe like just to like think about things from before, like where would you get your most inspiration from for like maybe say your beaded earrings or different things like that? Because that's one of the things that you were mentioning about people waiting at the powwow. You put beaded earrings on Instagram or whatnot, and they sell right away. Like, where do you get your inspiration for that?
And colors, because if we look, we know
It's
that's
Jessica Hernandez.
It's the neon. You love the bright colors, and you know how to balance it and work with it so well. Like, where do you get the inspiration for those colors?
So sometimes just sketching like different, like, even just making
Doodles.
motions will help me think of a design or something. But I tend to try to see like what's kind of popular right now. What is like fashion wise? What colors are out there? I like to look at, different artwork and pieces, paintings, people who do watercolor. That inspires me. I think I had mentioned to you before, I really love Indian embroidery.
Oh, yes, I remember. Yeah.
Okay.
I freaking love it. Like if I were to be somebody else one day, I love the saris and the outfits that they wear. I think they're the most beautiful thing ever. So a lot of that inspires me. Shapes, texture. I know everybody really loves the bees and the birds because that's kind of, what we're surrounded with. So I tend to go back to that a little bit. I stopped doing the bead arounds quite a few years ago.
What's that?
Like beading around a gem. Like I don't often do that anymore.
Is that like what a cab would be or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I find lately I've been doing a lot of beading pieces that I draw, whatever it might be, just, different things. So, and I didn't realize I used to be really good at pricing things and then everything changed because of the quality of beadwork, right? That's out there now. So what I'm charging for something that I drew and fully beaded was like less than something that was beaded around a gem. Not to say that, they're just as beautiful, but I was like, I need to do something, like change something about this because it's not making sense.
Yeah. There's a lot of like to draw out because you already have to take that into consideration all the time. The thinking of it, the drawing of it, all of that time, all of that energy that gets put into that. And then to create the piece and then all of the extras and everything else. Like,
yeah. So, and it's like, oh, you have earrings at the store? I'm like, if I ask somebody to make earrings for the store, then I'll have some of those style earrings. But for me to make earrings, it's going to be hours of work for a pair because I like to bead like designs, not small, but I don't realize I'm doing it. It's just, I have to add more and more. Even when you're doing raised bead work, I'm like, oh, look, there's a space. Whoop.
yeah.
really
I know.
nice.
That's me too. I'm like, I love it as busy as possible. Like,
I'm like,
that's my
there's a
style.
space right there.
Yeah. Yes. I feel like it's like, I don't know. For me, I look at it, I'm like, it's not finished. Something needs to go there. It's empty. Like, I don't know. I like things to be busy, which is ridiculous because everywhere else I'm like, I need it clean.
But I mean, like there's something where like it's busy and it's just like
there's organized chaos.
Yeah,
to it.
and then there's just like a splash full of beads everywhere. Like, but that's not in either of your cases. That's not what it's like. So
yeah, everything is thought out. The whole process of it all.
And I think of my pieces as little canvases. How do I bring this to life? So that's kind of where I go when I'm making something.
I have a question, maybe just to follow up with, like when you said, like, oh yeah, you're picking your things and you're drawing out. Do you color where you're going to be beading? Because we talked about that last time. Like, we see people like who color in their design. They're like, oh my goodness, like I don't know if I can do that.
Not at all.
Okay.
And even that, my color patterns, I'll pick as I go. As I'm beading, I'll be like, I need this here. It's not specific. Like, I'll go and be like, oh, this has to go here. It's like the beads kind of speak for themselves.
Yeah.
So what is your favorite color combination at the moment?
All the colors.
Oh,
if you ask,
everything.
Like when I order stuff, like Grant Jonathan, like if I place an order with him, he's like, what colors do you need? I'll be like, all of them. And he's like, oh my God. I'm like, I have no judgment on any colors. I have a hard time.
I was just going to ask you,
I have a hard time to do like the fall colors that everybody loves to do.
Like that earthy kind of colors?
Yes. So I took a piece out and
like,
I grabbed some
beige?
colors.
I don't think I've ever seen you use beige before.
If I use beige, I probably added maroon or pink or something or yellow. I probably did, but I probably added other colors because I go for the most amount of colors I can. Like, this will work, and then I can bring this in, and then this in, and then. So, If I have to use the least amount of colors, it's very hard. I did a pair of moccasins that were white, black, and gray,
Mm-hmm.
and I struggled. But I was like, I'm seeing this through. I'm not adding anything. I'm not adding anything. I have to see this through because I had to see if I could do it.
Yeah.
Because I will just.
And that's the best thing. I love just to use like, I mean, mind you, if I use one color, I'm using like 30 different shades of that one color. Like, you know, if I use white, I'm using like 20 different whites.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The monochromatic beadwork that I've seen is so nice. I'm like, I got to try that one day, but I don't know if I can.
Yeah,
That'll really take you out of your comfort zone. That'd be a really good project to see, Jay.
Yeah.
it's like anxiety inducing though. Like for
You think?
well, when I did the red
the red
ones,
bat- the
I was
red-
like, oh, I just want to throw something else in here. I don't want to just stick with red. But I the same thing. I was like, no, I want to do like I enjoyed it, but I found it hard. Like not just for that reason, but I think we said it last time because when you put things on, they change. So I couldn't keep track of what color I actually did, like from leaf to leaf. If I didn't finish the flower like right away to petals, I was like, oh man, what did I use there? Because all the reds end up looking the same. So I had to keep like it's good to keep track. Yeah, I was like digging through the bead, like, okay, let me see.
I actually did a piece with all fall colors, and they're one of my favorite pairs of moccasins I made. But of course, they weren't just normal. I had to make a beaded like rainbow corn on there. And then I had it to add blue. Yeah. I was like, oh, okay. But that's just me.
But there are different tones. You can go like you could totally do fall and throw in like purple. You can throw in the blues, like, but usually it stays with that corn blue, you know. But yeah,
I get a lot of people who come to the store and ask me to help them pick colors, and they're like, "I wouldn't have seen that." I'm like, I don't know. To me, you can make anything work. You really can. Just don't
pick the same beads with the same finish. You gotta mix. You gotta have depth.
Because a lot of people are like all matte. I'm like, throw a shiny one in there.
Yeah,
you're not. It's all gonna Or if you do all shiny, it just in the sun, it's a blob of shine. You just see sparkle.
Don't discriminate. Don't be bead racist.
Yeah, you gotta go like everything. Get everything.
All the colors are important, Leith.
All finishes. All finishes are important.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a really serious question, kind of. What inspired you to open your store?
So I had been on the powwow trail for...
Maybe just give a little background about that. So when did you start your biz in the beads?
I started beading in 2012 when I was pregnant with my daughter, because you know how that nesting works.
Yeah.
But I always knew I was going to bead. I would collect beads. My aunt had a store. I had a box full of beads. People would give me beads. I'm like, one day I'm going to bead. So I knew, but I was always busy working or whatever. So when everything was like settled for her bed was done, like I took them out and I went on Google and I learned how to like do brick stitch. Simple. And I said, I'm going to learn how to do this. And I would order more supplies and more supplies. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm like, you know, you look at beadwork from like out west or down south and they have different kind of embellishments. So I started to order, you know, the cabs and the banding and all of that kind of stuff. And then I had a surplus and I had a lot of earrings. And I'm like, I'm going to do powwow this year. Like, you know, that's the ultimate goal. Can I get a spot? Oh my God. So I had the earrings and I had some of the supplies and it just grew. So I would start selling it online. I opened an Etsy shop and I put some of the stuff on there and it just kind of kept growing. And then my mom's like, well, you can put the stuff here, you know, and if somebody needs to come by. So like, I don't even know, maybe 2013, we started to put stuff at her house and people would call, be like, can I come by? So that's how it would be. We would drag everything out and I just had an abundance of stuff because each year you would grow a little bit more. I had people from like Maniwaki or I didn't even understand because they speak like a broken Manawan and French together. So you can't even use Google Translate to speak to them. But they would be like, and they would bring their kids and their kids would be running around my mother's house. There'd be like 10 people in her house at a time. It was really like wild for a moment there, but you know. And I was working at Turn 4 at the time at a bar and it was draining. And I didn't like what I was doing. You had
small kids too, right?
Yeah, but I didn't necessarily like what I was doing. I was good at what I did.
Again, that customer service.
Yeah, because it pays the bills, right? But I wasn't happy about the work I was doing. And I didn't see the benefit of what I was doing for my community. I thought of it as I'm not helping anybody here.
Mhm.
You know, I know it's paying my bills, but I felt like I was doing disservice.
Mhm.
And I was starting to get unhappy. And it's like, you know, I can't put my kids to bed at night. Like, you know, they're watching Disney movies and I want to be home. Like,
Mhm.
I'm getting home at 3:30, 4 o'clock. This has got to change. And then I talked about opening a store, and I'd ask around, does anybody have space? But there was nowhere really to rent
Mhm.
at the time. Then I saw a post about the ACE program with Dewa Dunizakta,
Mhm.
and it said 25 and up, and I'm like, oh God. You know, I'm going to apply anyway. Maybe they'll accept me. I'm like, because this is really like you're learning to open a business while opening a business
Mhm.
and writing
And
a
that was
business
the first
plan.
one they had, right?
Yeah,
Was that the
first cohort? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I applied. I got the job. And we were one of the bigger classes. I think we were like 14. And then I ended up being kind of like this mama bear to all these other. I was one of the older ones, but you know, we had to take a business course at Nova. We had to open Duramas,
Mhm.
make a menu, which is partly why we have the hoof lady and all of that.
Okay.
Because I said this is a good talking piece. Let's call these like
Yeah.
something, you know,
Town.
back to us.
Our
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
And as we were doing the business plan, learning at Nova, I was doing mine
Mhm.
at the same time like this. Because when I do like learn something, I have to do two.
Mhm.
Apply it right away.
Yeah. So as I was going, so when it ended, I was like, here you go. And I was eligible for, you know, the loans and
Yeah.
all of that. And then I had seen where I'm located. There
Mhm.
was a little blurb at the post office and I called him.
Mhm.
I looked at it and I said, okay, I'll take it. So he let me go in August 2018. And for 2 months, I went in and I painted, built furniture. I had a little bit of help here and there from
Mhm.
Ganya and the kids, but I painted everything mostly myself. I hung up my rack with my banding. Like
Mhm.
I was in there. I'm like, I'm doing this. I
Mhm.
built my office desk, all of that, and opened. The only thing that was hard is that with loans nowadays, when you're opening, it's really for like your equipment and like all the
No, the supplies and
facades,
stuff. Yeah.
not the supplies. And
That
I'm
really
like,
costs a lot. And then you just have your sitting on stock.
yeah. So it's like, how do you like get capital to buy all this inventory?
Mhm.
People don't really tell you that much in business courses. You know, it's like, oh, take out a loan, but don't go to the bank or,
Mhm.
you know, they say things like that. So it's like, okay, well, I'm going to have to just go slow from here.
Mhm.
And to me, that's the best case. Go slow. Because if you go too fast, you're going to end up overwhelmed. And so I just took it slow from here. You know, we did some classes and things. And I started a little beading group with the little girls,
Mhm.
my daughter's age and a little older. And they would come like twice a week and they loved it. They have short attention spans. So we would bead a little while, we would snack, we would chit chat, and then we'd go play outside or something. But they
And
really
you did a
loved
summer
it.
program, right?
Yeah, we did a small one where they would come in and I think it was like twice a week. And we would beat a little bit and we'd go play outside. They would play like all those games we used to play, like Bulldog or whatever.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Like go for a walk, you know, just stuff like that. Just something for people to do.
Mhm.
So yeah, just little by little, I would do different things and I'd be also selling and shipping packages out and just kind of managing both. Anything like if I had idea to do anything, I'd be like, I got to do this. I'd get everything. I'd make one, and then my
Mhm.
mother would be there, and she'd get it all done.
Yeah, yeah. What's
So
this?
I have a question. So how is that doing? Going online and store?
Oh, yeah. That's right. The online frenzy.
It's overwhelming because I don't think people realize you have multiple inboxes that people can reach you.
Mhm.
You have your personal inbox. You have your business inbox on Facebook, on Instagram, on your website,
And
On
then the-
whatever Etsy, if
on
that's
Etsy.
on-
There's
yeah.
like inbox and then your email.
And then the
It
people
is.
who know you and text you.
Yes. So it is overwhelming. And I was like, at one point, I'm like, I can't answer all these messages. I don't have the energy for it. Like, I'm focused on doing what I'm doing. I need
Mhm.
somebody here to like answer these messages for me so I can work. And that's where Olivia came in. Because she also was part of ACE, one of
Oh,
the
okay.
cohorts, I think the third or fourth cohort. And I said, you know what? She's got a good work ethic. And
Mhm.
she just seemed very organized.
Yeah.
So I heard her to do that, but the rise in shipping prices, the rise in
Supply prices.
the lack of supplies, because there are shortages around the world in every department. And people are like, oh, you don't have the big bobbins of thread. I'm like, girl, if you find a big bobbin of thread, buy it, because they're hard to come by.
Yeah.
Like even had one supplier message me, oh, are you placing an order? Because I had found elsewhere, and I'm like, well, you're always out of stock. I don't know what to do. Like, the shortages are real. The price increases are real. People don't realize, like, COVID really messed a lot of things up.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's give or take. You know, I'm not as much promoting or marketing my online. It's there, and I'll do it as is. Because if I really put my whole effort into it, it'll
take over.
It'll take over, and I'm just not there right now. So,
like, I have a Shopify account, and it's all ready to go. But I'm like, I've been sitting on it for a year and a half, almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Almost 2 years. During the pandemic, I started it, and I was like, this is what I'm going to do. But I'm like, it's still under, like, I think when you look on it, it says like, we will be opening soon, or come back, whatever, because I can't, like, I have a I have a half-time job. I have a part-time job. I've tried to be work. I'm like, is it something I really want to do? Is it really something I'm passionate about? Maybe just selling at the store is fine, but I'm just like, but I have this website. It's all ready. All the stuff is ready. And I'm just like, I'll wait.
You need like a whole army to help you. Like, often people will say like, oh, you should post more. Or do you have online like for the shop? But even just posting, sometimes I could post like maybe 5 pictures, and even just doing that sometimes gets so overwhelming, because I have to man that. And if there's people walking in, like, I'm working the store and working the online, and it's not even online, it's just a couple of pictures, and I can't always keep up with that, because you're trying to manage a million different
So here's
things.
my little trick with that, is that I learned the hard way. So what I did is anything that's on my website is in a separate bin, so that I'm not taking from my shelves. I know what's in here.
Yeah.
I know what's here, because trying to manage both.
And if you have sales at the shop, and then it doesn't cut. It's
so I have a separate area for my Etsy bin that we will go from time to time, because listing stuff,
it's a pain in the ass.
I'm like,
you gotta take a picture. You gotta write the description. You gotta, how much does it weigh? Because then when you gotta sell it, then you gotta make sure it's a shipping. So when they cash out, everything is ready to go, and you just get your payment. That's it.
But the thing is that you should do that when you're ready, because that's the way business is going.
I know.
That's the way that business is going. Like, we're fortunate. We live in a community that loves beads and beadwork. Everything's online shopping now. And if you don't have like an online presence, then you're not going to be doing very well, you know? So it's just, it's a balance. And I haven't really been putting too much into it, because like I said, I didn't want to get overwhelmed, because I am still, I don't want to say fragile, but I'm still,
you're still grieving.
I'm still grieving.
Yes, that's so, and that takes a while. It's okay.
So I do what I can every day. I've started sewing.
Yeah, excellent.
So, you know, I'm trying to fill in things with stuff that I always wanted to do, but also trying to balance that. But these shortages and then shipping times, like, I ordered November 9th and I still haven't. It's still at customs.
What?
Yeah. Something.
Oh no.
So, you know, I have all these beads sitting on the table, but no tubes. I have, it's fun and games, you know, and then going to ship packages, it was going from like $12 to $14.
Yeah.
No,
like express.
To like $20 to $25 for expedited, which isn't even express. And regular and expedited are like the same price. And that's with a Canada Post business account. So yeah. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Then I had messaged a supplier. I'm like, when are you getting this? Well, we're not really getting it right now, because people don't realize beads come on shipments,
from wherever, from Japan, from China, from wherever it is.
So they have to pay sea freight to get it here. And they said the cost of their shipping went up a zero. So they're only ordering so much at a time. So it's like having to manage all of that is like, and then you have people like that don't understand.
Oh, do you have that color? You know, I bought it whenever, and I'm like,
yeah, and they don't understand. Well, when are you getting it?
Well, I'm a really bad person too. Like, I'm not really on with the Leith beads. Like, I'm trying my best, but you know, our language is suffering. So I need to focus on that for a little bit, you know?
and that's it. Everyone is just doing what they can, and as much as you can, like being behind the scenes and doing a store and like you kind of get the understanding of how retail works and how all, shipping and supply and demand and all that. Like we were talking about that not too long ago. I was in the shop and it was like, people may want to come in and complain that, oh, well, you don't have this, but even if it's there, I have to sell and move what is in the store to make profit, to be able to buy more stuff.
Yeah.
Like, so, and if people aren't shopping, then I can't buy more crap. Like, so there's a whole chain and a whole line of the way things work, so yeah.
And on top of it, like, we're small businesses. It's not like we're pulling in like thousands of dollars,
a day
or whatever.
No.
Like it's, and things cost a lot of money, and you have to order a certain amount in order to get it to you at a certain price. So it's like, people don't realize like it's tens of thousands of dollars to order.
And you
things.
have to put your markup on it.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah.
You know,
Otherwise you're doing it for nothing, but for financially nothing.
Yeah.
And if like you're buying stuff from the States, you got to pay the exchange. And sometimes that was like a lot of money.
And cost and duty.
And duty.
Yeah.
Oh, and that went up.
That went up too. Everything went up. So yeah.
So the bottom line, people, it's crazy having a store.
And be good to Digarjakwa and Leith. Please, we're doing our best.
With that, maybe to go, there was a part of the same question is, what's your favorite thing about your store? Of having a store, of being an entrepreneur? What's your favorite thing?
My favorite thing?
Your favorite thing?
I love my customers.
Mm-hmm.
I love people coming in day to day. And sometimes they just want to stay. They want to talk.
Yeah.
And I don't mind that. You know what? I tell people all the time, if you want to come in, come in. Like, I'm sitting here beading, or if I'm not working on inventory, like I'll sit here and bead. If you want to come join me, like, I don't mind. Nobody really takes me up on it because it's always, oh yeah, I'll do that. But I love my customers. And secondly, I like going home at a decent hour and being home with my family. Like, that's like sold.
Yeah.
I'm doing this.
Okay, so maybe just to be a little catty and to be like not so serious, I'm going to ask you a question. Do you ever notice the looseness in someone else's beadwork?
Yes.
Wait, what was that?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, looseness.
Have you ever asked somebody, or have you ever imparted your artistic wisdom on somebody just to encourage them to strive to their greatest potential?
So we had class the other day. I'm teaching people how to do my beaded cradle board.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, if, you're beading and you see that you don't like it, don't keep going.
Take it
Stop.
off.
Take it off. And they're like, well, I don't like that, but I'm going to come back to it. I'm like, no. And she kept beading. So I went there with scissors and I cut it.
You cut it yourself. Good for you. Go.
So I was like, here. So sorry,
you're not
Cattery.
But the thing is, too, is that you want somebody to learn something a good way the first time so they can continue to do it excellent every time, right?
Take off your beads. Just, you know what?
Yes.
If you have the chance, take your beads off and do it again. And you're going to be like, wow, like mind blown.
And if it doesn't work that time, take them off again and you try again till it looks good.
Yeah.
Unless your velvet starts to get like,
Oh, that's like the pits.
It shrivels up.
And you just got to beat over that.
yeah. So I have somebody who's a beginner who didn't like it at first. So I told her, take it off.
Mhm.
Do it again. When you're home, do it again. She brought it back and it's so beautiful.
Oh, that's so nice.
It's so beautiful. And she's like, I'm so happy that I did that.
Mhm.
And so I encourage everybody, like, don't keep going if you see something out of place.
Yeah.
Take it off.
Yeah. So I have the other extreme. So I have the two. And me, I'm a little bit more laid back. Like, I encourage people, but if you're not gonna, that's fine. But eventually you're gonna have to learn to take that off. Like, because then that's how you improve. You have to push yourself to keep, challenging it. Whatever it is that you don't like, take it off.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, sometimes though, now in classes, I have people who come in and like continuously take off. Where I was like, okay, you need to
Like perfectionist
I've
type
seen
stuff.
that.
yeah, where you're like,
yeah.
okay, you're not going to finish this. Like, you need to stop taking that off and you need to just like come to terms and come to peace with whatever it is you're doing. And sometimes it's funny because when you're working with other people, you see their traits in their art.
Mm-hmm.
You could see people who have a hard time letting go. You have people who, like me, who are like neat freaks or like certain things have to be a certain way, or are just not comfortable. Like they can't set their mind on a color. Like those colors, there's 1,000 colors in beads. You can always change it, and they're always trying to change it while they're working in the same piece instead of saying, okay, well, this piece is going to be black and white. Next piece, I'll do purple and red. Like that's, so it's funny you see that too. Like when you're working with different people, like all the different traits of everyone,
Yeah, everybody's so different.
Yeah.
And you have to have patience because not everybody like learns the same way.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, you know what? I know that I can leave these ones on their own to keep going, and I'm going to sit with this person. Again, why I didn't do Zoom is because how do you do that? Like you over here in this square.
Yeah.
Let's work on this, you know? But
and it's a very fine line. When I was teaching the moccasins, that's the hardest one because of doing the puckering and how do you, so everything was literally like, you have to show it on the thing and not everyone can do it because it mirrors. So what I would have to do behind the scenes was I'd either take pictures of the process and break it down and send paragraphs of each step, or then send videos of each step of how we had to do this. Because like having a teaching background too, and being somebody who learns very, very literal and step by step, like that's the way I function. So when I teach, that's how I teach it because that's how I need to know. Like, so I assume, not that I assume, but most people would, need that too. So especially when you're doing beadwork. So it's that breakdown, constant breakdown. Yeah.
And that's too much work for me.
Yeah. It's dissecting, but that's me. That's the way my brain works. Everything has to be dissected. So when I teach, I dissect every step and then try to reteach it. Like I hope it works for everyone, but that's the way I have to do it. So,
well, when I first learned how to make moccasins and the puckering, I didn't understand what they were talking about because they explained it, and I'm like, I gotta do this. Wait, like it took me a few tries, and then finally, once I got it, I was like, okay, I get it now.
Yeah,
but I couldn't wrap my head around it right away. And I'm a learner. Like I've always been like somebody who likes to learn, and that was hard for me because I didn't understand it right away. I was like. I was like, mad.
What is this? Yeah. And you have to adapt it too sometimes because the way you learn things doesn't always like jive. So it's kind of like, okay, well, I'm going to take what you've given me and then how do I adapt it so that it works better for me, So like that for everyone.
Maybe before we get into our rapid fire question, I wanted to ask you, what advice would you give to someone who's just starting out?
Don't give up. Don't give up. And you know what? It's not going to be perfect first time around. That's okay. Just keep going because as you go, practice makes perfect. So, and that's the same advice I give my daughter when it comes to all the things that she likes to do. I know it's frustrating. You can't get it right now. You will, but don't give up. I don't like quitters.
Hear that, everybody? Don't be a quitter if you're going to these accessories.
Be a doer.
And if you are, then she will probably go there. She will probably be there to help motivate you to continue what you're doing, right? Because I know that's like you said, you started off the conversation by saying like you're a very positive person and you want to see the brightness in everybody. So, like you're a very kind person. That's what
I love to motivate people. I love for people to see the best in things. And myself have always seen, like even with the grimmest of things, I'd be like, we can get out of this or something. I don't know why I'm like that because time and time again, it's like, doesn't work out, but that's just the way I am.
Keep going because you're not a quitter.
Yeah. There you go.
But it's just the way I am.
Quitters never win.
And it's not about winning. It's about being self-aware and self-happy and just finding a happiness in whatever you do because it doesn't apply to beading. It applies to everything.
Okay, so we have some rapid fire questions. Some of them have nothing to do with beadwork and some of them have everything to do with nothing, really.
Okay.
Just questions, just a fun little thing. Okay, so first question. Love or friendship?
Both.
Aren't they the same?
I don't know. That was the question. It said love or friendship. I don't know.
Both. Yeah.
I guess so. Love, because love can be friendship. There.
Yeah.
Okay, so next one. This is when I saw this question, I thought Jessica for sure. What is your go-to karaoke song?
It has changed over the years, but I really love Creep by Radiohead and Bohemian Rhapsody if I want to get a crowd going. You get me a mic and let me tell you, it's been a while, but yeah.
Do you have a go-to song?
I hate karaoke.
I hate karaoke. I've never done it, and I don't plan to.
I've done it, but I hate
I'm
it.
like, that just like makes my skin crawl.
No, it's like one of my friends at her birthday, like her birthday is actually coming up. So she was like, let's go. I'm like,
What's her go-to karaoke song
I don't
that
remember.
you know she's going to sing?
I don't even
don't
know.
know? Okay.
Because
I
they
might
sing
know.
everything. They like love Sarah. I'm calling you out, Sarah Phillips,
Oh,
in
no.
your karaoke. No.
I'll tell you something though. This community has amazing singers,
Yes.
creative people, musicians, beaters,
It's like
painters.
closet singers that you don't even
This
know about.
town is talented.
You heard it here first. Kahnawake is the place to be talented. Do you eat soup or do you drink soup?
Drink.
Slurp it. No.
You slurp it up.
I use a spoon.
Slurp it up. What is the best gift you ever received?
That's a hard one.
I don't know. That was a rapid fire question. I don't know.
Okay, I'm gonna be cheesy and cakey, but
Go for it.
my kids, my babies.
Ditto.
I'm not going to say that. I think the best gift I ever received, and it's not really I can't remember getting it, but it's a wonderful story. It was a Cabbage Patch Kid. And it was in the 80s when it was a frenzy of Cabbage Patches. And I wanted that corn silk one. And I got one that was bald and a newbie. And my mother said, she is beautiful and dark just like you.
No.
Which she tells that I said something back that I said, this baby does not look like me. I am not bald.
Well, I mean, if we're going with like Christmas gifts when you're a kid, I love my fashion plates.
Ooh,
Oh.
pink? Were they pink?
I think so. Yeah. I was
I love
like, and then I would draw. Yeah. I love those.
All right. So then mine is not Christmas or anything like that. It was, so when I'm the baby of the family. I am the only girl and I am like really far in age between my brothers. So I'm spoiled. I'm spoiled by everybody. So my mother had a friend. Her name is Mary Louie. She's very close friends with her. She's from BC. She would often come down and visit and stuff like that. So she had come down. She gave my mother a gift. And me being like a little spoiled
Bratty
5-year-old, I guess. I think I was about 5 maybe. I remember crying thinking, she doesn't like me like
because you didn't get anything.
because I didn't get it. So anyways, so she took the necklace off of her neck and gave it to me. And it's a long wampum strand. And it had a few I think they're like the plastic. They look like the Swarovski crystals. And they just had a few plastic beads, some glass beads and things like that, and all wampum. And it's all white, blue, and gold. And she gave it to me. And I remember being embarrassed though that I was crying before she actually even because I guess at that age I knew all right, I am being a little over dramatic here. And I was embarrassed, but she saw me and she knew I was crying because of the situation. So she gave it to me and she told me, she said, take really good care of this because I'm giving it to you. So I still have it.
Oh,
and
nice.
I used to have it in my car. I look at it as a protection because she's a very amazing person too. She's a traditional healer from her community. Yeah, so I still have it. And my kids, I have to hide it. Her daughter usually steals all of my chains or whatever. So I told him, I was like, this is very special to me. I said, do not take this, and whatever. So I still have it. I wear it once in a while. I'm afraid to wear it because I don't want to break it or lose it. But it's,
Post a picture on your Instagram.
yeah, I'll have to share it.
That's a very nice
I'll
story.
grab it.
You learned a very important lesson that day.
Yeah.
Do you know what it is?
Don't be a goddamn brat. No.
All I gotta do is cry.
Yes. I was going to say that.
Just cry and you get what you want.
I say that every day at school.
Too funny.
But you know what? That's what you know at that age. So whatever. What is your favorite family recipe? Not necessarily something that you cook, but something maybe that you like to eat, but that's it. Something that your family likes.
Oh, probably my chicken parmesan, my chicken cutlets. I'm a good cook. COVID has taken the love of cooking out of me, but I love it. I'm a good cook.
How about you?
Meatloaf, my family hates it, but that was my mother's, I loved it. It was our comfort food. So I'll make it. It's not the same as hers, but I love it. And I still try. I'm always like, yeah. I'm always like, Stop, how the hell do you make it? You're so good. And then she'll even joke, she'll be like, guess what we had last night? And I'm like, you didn't call me?
Mine is Hoyan donuts or Indian cookies.
Mm-hmm.
How do I get on your list?
Yeah.
There is no list. You just have to come knocking at the door on during New Year's Day.
I see you post that every year.
Yeah.
You
And
and
I said-
Addie, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
Well, we're
How
same
do I be-
family. It's the same recipe,
yeah,
probably.
like, how do you become part of like this getting donuts?
Yeah.
thing?
You have to, like in Oneida, they go house to house. I mean, I'm not sure if they go to just random people's houses anymore, but they would go to like my cousin would go. You go to places you know,
Mhm.
and you collect donuts. So you don't necessarily have to be on a list. It's not like, oh, I'm putting 5 donuts aside from you. If you go, you get donuts. If you don't, and then my grandmother, what she would do is she would make like she had like a gingerbread cookie man, and so like the grandkids would get
Those
a
a little
Hoyan
bit
man,
more special.
like
yeah.
Oh yeah, man. Oh.
Hoyan. A Hoyan man. Okay, so we have cutlets, we have dessert, and we have meatloaf. Where or when do you have the most impact?
Wait, that's a deep question. The most impact, I think, when I'm doing things not for myself.
Mm-hmm. When I'm teaching.
When I'm being truthful.
Mm-hmm.
Those are good answers. Good
Yeah,
job.
we are doing good. We are on fire. That's why they're called rapid. Okay, and morning or night person?
Night, never a morning.
Yeah, same.
I'm a morning person.
Kanye says that, what does he call me if I don't have my coffee? El Guapo.
Snowy mountain top or ocean beach side?
I'm not an ocean person and I don't like the snow. I like to like sightsee and
Mhm.
see different things.
Mhm.
Like when we went away
Yes.
for the wedding, I really wanted to go see the town and the people that were in it and see what Dominican Republic was.
The real deal. Yeah.
Like for me, if I'm going somewhere, I want to find out about where I am. But some of my favorite vacations are probably camping with my family.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not necessarily snowy or at a beach. Yeah.
I am both because I actually like the winter. I love the winter, but give me a Hawaiian beach and I'm there. Like I love both. So I can't choose one. I like it. I like it all. I'll take everything.
I'm inside somewhere on a snowy mountain, the cozy part.
Mhm.
Like I don't really like this snow,
Mhm.
and I am now not really liking the hot. So yeah, so inside air conditioning, inside cozy fire. That's me. I like the inside. Our last question, and it's not rapid fire because there's going to be 3 answers, but describe your beadwork in 3 words.
Myself, it's a hard question. Colorful, I don't know, inspired by life.
Very nice. And I think we've answered this question already.
Yeah.
But do you have new answers?
I don't even remember my old answers.
Well, then okay. So what are you? So today, right now, 3 words to describe your beadwork.
like muted, all my muted colors. Oh my God. Muted.
That's 2.
Like
muted, and
well, just muted. I don't know. Christ, meticulous,
Yeah, we
like
can swear on this spot. Okay, meticulous, muted, and
busy.
busy. Yeah. Well, I guess. Well, you're looking at me, so I guess I'll answer the question.
It's your turn.
Okay, so simple. I want to say elegant, timeless. That's what I thought.
Oh,
So,
there you
yeah.
go.
That describes your beadwork. I think.
Yeah, I
Those
think
are
so,
perfect words.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I would just like to take this opportunity to say nyawa, Jessica, for coming into the beading table. And we're so glad that you came on and shared all of your wisdom with us. And we wish you much success this weekend. You'll be
Yes.
back on
Oh
again.
my God.
And we can't wait to hear what happens. And we'll probably see a post about it. And yeah, do you have anything you would like to say?
Just Nyawa for inviting me. It's an honor to be here with you ladies. Olivia and I actually will listen to the podcast when we're at work some days. So I don't think I'll be listening to this one because I don't like it. But yeah, thank you. And cross my fingers. But like I said, it's just going to be a nice little weekend.
Mhm. Oh, and yeah, have fun, safe travels.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's hope it doesn't snow like it did last week.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So with that, everyone, nyawa for listening to the Beading Podcast.
Beading table.
Oh my God. With that being said, everybody, nyawa for listening to the Beading Table. And we will be back here in the new year, hopefully, fingers crossed, with episode 13. And have a great day.
Oh,
Nyawa,
no.
Ana.
The views and opinions of the guests expressed in this podcast do not reflect those of Iorì and its employees.